Today on Monkey Life, how to move more than 30 capuchins in a day as the team tackle a big house swap.
You have to make sure that all the right slides are open and closed to make sure that nobody goes to the wrong place.
Alison's overcome by the chimps' reaction to a fallen tree placed in their enclosure.
How magnificent to see our chimpanzees sitting in the shade of a big leafy tree like they should be. It makes me feel almost a bit emotional.
And the bouncy guenons try out their revamped home. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
You just never know how it's gonna work.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 25 different species. There are more than 80 capuchins split across 5 different groups at the park, and managing one of them is currently proving a tricky problem for the primate care team. Keeping these intelligent, lively New World monkeys happy and settled is always a challenge. But at the main capuchin complex, home to 3 of the groups, friction has started to develop amongst the males in Franco's troop, resulting in scuffles and minor injuries.
So dominant male Franco is having a lot of squabbles with Felipe, which is causing pretty bad injuries to the extent that we have to stitch them up. They do have their squabbles normally, which in general is fine, but you know, we can't risk having anaesthetics to stitch them up all the time, and clearly they're not happy.
The catalyst for this unwelcome situation was the arrival of pet trade capuchin Dodger, who moved into Winslow's group next door. The 2 outdoor enclosures run parallel to each other, giving Dodger plenty of opportunity to wind up his neighbours, something he seems to relish. To try and defuse the situation, Donna and the Capuchin team have come up with a plan. They're going to have a home swap, with Franco's group of 14 moving into Sonny's house and enclosure, and vice versa. But moving more than 30 individuals at once won't be easy.
So the process of moving them is very complicated. The facility that we've got at the Capuchin complex is good in the sense that there's lots of bedrooms, lots of tunnels that links everything together, which actually is a massive bonus for us and for the animals because it means that we don't have to crate or move any of the animals. We can just move them within the house, bypass them past each other, and do it that way, which is much less stressful and quicker as well.
It's a complex plan, but will be rewarding if they can pull it off.
I'm actually really excited to see the animals in a different enclosure. You know, it's so enriching for them and it'll be really cool to see. But at the moment, there's a lot going on in my head and we've got so much to do before we get to that stage.
To keep stress to a minimum, Winslow's group of capuchins have already been shut out of their bedrooms to prevent them interfering.
OK.
Inside is a labyrinth of tunnels and slides. Designed to interconnect and move animals from A to B. And sometimes C.
To me, it all makes perfect sense, but, you know, to the unseen eye, it is quite complicated. So we have to make sure that all the right slides are open and closed to make sure that nobody goes to the wrong place.
The team's first task is to move Sonny's large group out of their bedrooms and into Winslow's bedrooms, which will be used as a holding area.
OK, first animal.
Sonny's group are ageing, and some have mobility or psychological issues.
Good girl.
Ideally, the team need to move the less able capuchins first.
Come on, OK, come in, Livy. Let's go then, Livy.
Trying to entice them from point to point isn't straightforward.
God, not making my life easy, are they?
The team decide to try a small bribe to encourage them.
Good girl, Lizzie. Good girl.
That worked. Now it's on to the more dominant individuals.
Good boy. Okay, first step is complete. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 animals are done out of a lot. That's the easy bit. Hi, Sunny. Anybody else coming through?
One by one, Sunny's group complete part 1 of their move.
We're just going to do a quick tick sheet to make sure that they definitely are all in the right place. And then we'll move on to the next step, which is moving Francos.
So far, so good. Capuchin moving day is well underway. But there's still a long way to go before everyone is settled in their new homes. It's a big day for the park's Gwenon family. For the past few weeks, the maintenance and primate care teams have been adapting their outside enclosure to give the lively, active group more space to play, climb and move around. Gone are the overhangs designed to keep the primates in, replaced with high sides and a roof. New platforms and natural foliage fill the space, allowing the Gwenon family to make full use of their entire enclosure. The last 4 years have been a learning curve for everyone involved with the group, as they've assessed what works for this little-known species.
These are the only red-bellied guenons outside of Benin that I'm aware of in the world. No doubt there are some in hunting camps here and there, but there are none in zoos and wildlife parks. So what we're trying to do is create a stable family unit, which we've now done with them, and just manage them for the rest of their lives in the best environment possible. And this was the next step in their evolution, giving them a more spacious, appropriate enclosure for this stage in their life where they have a young, energetic family. This means now, if you look around, that the Gwenons will have probably, I don't know, it might even be 10 times the amount of space that they had available before. And for this young family with those 2 kids who are just like elastic bands, just flying around, it will be really good for them physically and mentally.
The family of 4 are made up of Dad Benny, Mum Nia, and their 2 daughters, Biff and Nala. They love climbing, particularly the youngsters. But the opportunities were previously limited because trees could only be situated in the middle of the enclosure. Too near the fence, and the bouncy guenons would have been up and away. Their tendency to eat every part of the trees was also an issue. The redesigned enclosure is chock full of newly planted trees and shrubs to give the plants a fighting chance of surviving. But even so, Alison has her doubts.
I think the Gwenons are going to eat them all. But what our tactic is here is just to put so many in that some may survive. But I'm sort of betting on the Gwenons on this one.
Everything is set,
Morning, Gwenons.
and the slides are opened.
Oh, there they go.
The group charge out, heading straight for the new cargo net.
Hi, you guys.
They immediately tuck into the fresh browse. At first, they're a little bit cautious, sticking to the lower branching and platforms, taking it all in while breakfasting on the move.
Are those cherries good? Very tasty.
The youngest in the group, Nala, sticks close to Dad Benny for reassurance. But curiosity and excitement soon gets the better of the entire family. The alterations to the enclosure have completely transformed the space, creating a huge 3D network to explore and experience. As Alison predicted, the Gwenons help themselves to the natural foliage. There's plenty of variety for them to demolish.
It It's just wonderful to see them out and looking so happy and enthusiastic. We knew how nimble they were and how fast moving and so on, but in the smaller area, they couldn't really show their skills. And now from the top corner in those cargo nets, they can run, leap, branch bounce, and carry on. So we're seeing great runs after they've sort of settled down and eating. You see them making great runs across the whole area and then contact calling back to the others. And now we just have to try and keep all of these gorgeous plants alive and to keep supplementing. If something dies, we'll just keep replacing to see if we can finally find a balance where this will just fill full of foliage and be their own little forest. But we have a watering system on top of the cage, so hopefully that'll help keep everything going.
This amazing and unusual family take everything in their stride, and their revamped space will add to their quality of life. It's a great example of the park adapting to suit the individual needs of each primate species. But expending so much energy can catch up with you, even for the lively guenons. It's been a hectic morning for the Capuchin team, and it's not over yet.
Hey, everybody!
2 of the groups in the Capuchin complex are swapping homes. So far, the team have moved Sunny's troop of 19 into a holding area. It's now time to move the 14 individuals making up Franco's group into their new home, which was previously Sunny's. But before that can happen, the team need to give it a good clean and dismantle some of the movable ramps.
So a lot of the individuals in Sunny's group are more elderly and have a lot of mobility issues. So they need more ramps just to aid them getting around because they really do find it quite difficult. Franco's troop, in contrast, are much younger and sprightly, so they shouldn't need them. So we'll just take them out of Sunny's current playroom, move them across so they've got them in their new area.
The move, brought about by friction in Franco's group, resembles a giant Rubik's Cube. But for everything to fit together, each part has to be put in place in order. The team has spent weeks planning the operation, and so far it's going well. Now it's time to move on to the next stage.
Hopefully Franco's will be quite easy and quite smooth. They are really inquisitive and into everything. So the second they see, oh, we can get to go to a new place, I think it'll go quite quick. But that might be famous last words.
Hello, Alison and Jeremy. Just to let you know, we're now starting to move Franco's group across to Sunny's facility.
Okay, best of luck.
The primate care team need to move Franco's group from their current home into Sunny's playroom, and then straight outside into what will be their new outside enclosure.
Right, you ready for some monkeys in there, Sarah? All right, got Donny.
Franco and the more dominant individuals have been held back in their playroom until the low rankers are safely outside, adjusting to their new surroundings.
It just makes it a little bit nicer for them because they get to be the first ones out. They're not going out to an area that is full of animals that are kind of higher ranking than them. But you can see Franco's quite keen to get over there because you can see all the other members of his group getting to explore somewhere different, whereas he's back there.
Once the group's lower rankers are outside and accounted for, the high rankers are given access too, and they're straight out exploring their new space.
So all of Franco's group are now into Sunny's.
Phase 2 is complete, but the team's next task is yet to come, and it's the trickiest of all. Persuading Sunny's group through the maze of tunnels, back through their old playroom, and into their new home. The park has come a long way since it first opened its doors more than 35 years ago. Back then, it looked very different. The original house and enclosure were built on the site of a former pig farm in order to house 9 infant chimpanzees. They'd been rescued by founder Jim Cronin from Spanish beaches where they were used as photographers' props. That first chimp enclosure was full of pine trees, and it didn't take long for the little chimps to strip it clean.
So basically, the chimpanzees deforested their own home. Within a few months, actually, the trees started dying off. And there's just no way that we can keep a stand of trees living inside our chimpanzee or our orangutan enclosures.
But every so often, nature helps out. When trees in the park become unsafe or compromised and need to be felled, they don't go to waste.
After 35 years, all of the trees have grown and become very mature, and we're starting to have to manage them. So, yeah, tree comes down, let's get it out there for the guys and see what the knock-on effects are, because it sounds like a simple thing, but the effects on the group and how they behave can be further reaching than what you would expect.
The lucky recipients today are Hananya's troop. The chimps have a daily routine. Every morning they're let into their enclosure and take to the climbing frames in search of food put out by the primate care team. Today, it looks very different, making them more cautious than usual. But they're immediately curious about the leafy tree, although it doesn't detract entirely from breakfast. However, it does make them think and test it out. Shamak is the first to give the tree a proper inspection, grabbing a branch, giving it a shake, and looking for a weak point. Tuti is more direct. She's already in full chimp destruction mode, snapping off a branch and attempting to carry it off. Low-ranking Cookie stays on the ground, happy with a small piece of browse, away from the more dominant individuals now monopolizing the tree. Large female Johnny starts to display her dominance, particularly when some of the low-rankers, like Zeynep, get too close. Tuti takes advantage of the commotion, heading higher with the extra large piece of browse she secured.
I suppose today it was no surprise just to watch Johnny throwing her weight around. It's true, she's now top dog in this group. I mean, she's a female, so she's alpha female, if you will. In theory, the males are in charge of the group, but let's face it, Hananya's a big softie and a pushover, so I would say really that Johnny's ruling the roost, and she threw her weight around in spades today.
But in chimp society, squabbles are quickly forgotten. Calmness descends on the troop as they make the most of the wonderful natural opportunity provided for them.
How magnificent to see our chimpanzees. It makes me feel almost a bit emotional, but rehabilitated in a family group, sitting in the shade of a big leafy tree like they should be. So for us, it's been absolutely an excellent day on something that seemed almost trivial.
It's taken all morning, but at last the Capuchin team are on the final leg of the big house swap. Franco's troop have been moved successfully across to Sonny's outdoor enclosure. Now Sonny and his group are about to head in the opposite direction. As Franco and his 13 housemates explore outside, the tricky part begins inside.
Right, ready?
The primate care team have to move Sonny and his troop of 18 capuchins through the tunnel system and into the bedrooms and playroom of their new home, which has been specially adapted for the aging troop.
We need to do it in the right order. If we do the dominant animals first, then the low rankers aren't going to move if they're already there. So we just need to try and get the order right to encourage them to move in the best way possible and to keep everybody as happily as we can. So Sonny's group need to go back through into what was their playroom, and then upstairs, and then down into their new playroom.
Sounds like a plan, but getting all 19 capuchins to follow orders won't be straightforward.
Now we wait.
Right, are you ready, Donna?
I'm ready.
So go high slide, so at least they're in the direct line.
Yeah, that'd be good. Come on then, guys, let's go. Don't all rush at once.
It's not an encouraging start.
Are you going to eat first, mushroom?
The low rankers are a little wary.
Oh, hello.
How brave.
You coming through then? Good girl. You coming through this way?
It's a slow process, with the nosy neighbours next door not helping.
Yeah, they're a little bit preoccupied with the neighbours at the minute and just kind of saying hello and checking each other out.
Donna is aware time is ticking. Everyone needs to be in the right place and settled in before the end of the day.
We're just going to start to dribble some of the others through and then just keep working on everybody after that.
But then the capuchins begin to cotton on.
A couple of the individuals started moving, everybody else sort of followed suit. So we're getting there, slowly.
And minutes later, all 19 are where they're supposed to be.
Everyone has moved! Finally. So everyone's in the right places, so now all we need to do is give them full access to their new facilities. Job done. Oh.
The primate care team can now allow Franco's group into their new bedrooms. And they don't need a second invitation. For Donna and the Capuchin team, the big move has gone as well as they could have hoped.
All the animals are really happy in their new facilities. They're really chilled out. Nobody's sort of squabbling. I think at the moment it's actually sort of reunited the groups a little bit, and they're really happy just to be in a new area, and they're all exploring. They've got new elements outside to consider, and they've got new tunnels and bedrooms inside. So, in general, they're really happy, and I'm really happy.
The complicated move has taken more than 8 hours in all, but it's been a very successful day. This major reshuffle demonstrates the primate care team's commitment to providing the best environment possible. Next time on Monkey Life. Lee assesses repairs needed before work can start on a planned new forest enclosure at Monkey World's Vietnamese sister sanctuary.
Along the fence line, I've got a lot of damage where trees have come down and bent the bars.
And reunited Gibbon pair Kitty and Paul enjoy a fruity feast, craftily hidden in some giant pine cones. Today on Monkey Life, Chimp Bryan has a trip to the dentist to remove a rotten molar.
Oh, that's quite wobbly.
Quite broken, so I'm worried that if I go too quickly.
Yep.
Lee assesses repairs needed before work can start on a planned new forest enclosure at Monkey World's Vietnamese sister sanctuary, Dao Tien.
Along the fence line, I've got a lot of damage where trees have come down and bent the bars.
And reunited Gibbon's Kitty and Paul enjoy a fruity feast craftily hidden in some giant pine cones. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison and rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I can't keep her in, get her in. Okay, got it.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 25 different species. Bryan's chimp enclosure, peace and quiet reigns. But life for the well-established group of 5 is about to change. Alison and Jeremy are due to fly out to the Argentinian capital, Buenos Aires, in the next few days. When they return, they'll be bringing with them 2 adult chimps in need of a new home. The zoo, where mother and son Sasha and Kangoo have lived all of their lives, has transformed into an eco-park to preserve and protect species native to Argentina. Alison has agreed to rehome its 2 remaining chimps, but before they arrive, the teams at the park have a lot to do. The maintenance team have designed a new connecting sleeve to make the transfer from the chimps' travel crates to their new bedrooms easy and safe. It's now being fabricated locally. And at Bryan's, there's another pressing matter. He's been a bit grumpy recently and seems to have an oral problem. If so, it needs sorting right away. Chimp introductions can be challenging at the best of times, and an alpha male in pain won't make a great housemate. Alison wants everything organised before the new chimps arrive.
I just had this nagging thing in the back of my head, or more importantly, in Bryan's mouth. He has a rotten molar. And with everything that's about to happen, I'd rather have that rotten tooth out because I know it troubles him, and that he's feeling comfortable and happy when we return with 2 new individual chimpanzees. I'd like him to be not a bear with a sore head, but to have his mouth looking clean and nice and not full of infection.
Wildlife vet Nick Masters and local vet David Hola have been called in to perform the procedure.
So this is the tooth that you're worrying about, yeah?
Yeah. Is that 1 or 2 even?
I think it's just 1.
Okay.
Chimps' teeth have long roots, but hopefully it will be straightforward. Bryan is no stranger to dental issues.
Gracias.
When he was rescued from Mexico as a 3-year-old in 2006 by Alison and her late husband Jim, he was a traumatised little chimp.
Come here, good boy.
The beach photographer, who used him as a prop for tourist snaps, had knocked out all his young teeth, aside from 4 molars. The remaining shards of broken teeth became infected, and when he arrived at Monkey World, he needed 2 rounds of dental surgery. Although he's come a long way since, Bryan has never fully recovered from his ordeal in Mexico.
We know that Bryan suffers emotionally and psychologically from his treatment in his early years. It was just awful. Smuggled from the wild, so having your parents killed, smuggled from Africa into Cuba, from Cuba into Mexico, and then having your teeth knocked out. It's not a good story, and it's damaged him, but he's still the loveliest boy on the planet. He's absolutely gorgeous, and we're working with him. So his dental hygiene and health is something we're very aware of.
Removing a molar can be a long and tricky operation.
Oh, that's quite wobbly.
It's quite broken, so I'm worried that if I go too quickly...
Yep.
Bryan's molar is really rotten. The problem for Nick is extracting it without leaving any infected bits in the gum. He takes his time prodding and probing, and it pays off.
Yay, that sounded clean and good.
Yeah, it is. That's the whole root.
The decayed tooth has come out cleanly.
Okay, that looks great.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yay.
I'm glad it was doable.
While Bryan is under anaesthetic, the vet team take blood samples and x-rays for the record. Then, he's returned to his bedroom to recover. The care team will closely monitor him until he comes round. He's been given pain relief and antibiotics to prevent any further infection, and the procedure has gone as well as Alison could have hoped.
Today was a really good day. So that molar slipped out in 2 distinct pieces. So that was really good and not too hard work, and it actually went quite quickly. And that canine tooth that was broken off, the gum is already healed over the top of it. There's just 1 little tiny spot left. So I don't think we'll have to ever consider that again, I'm hoping.
And otherwise, Bryan is just perfect. He's gorgeous. He's in tip-top physical condition. He looks fantastic. So it was a pretty good call, actually, to have it out. And he's now got just over a week to heal up before Sasha and Kangoo arrive into his house.
Life is about to get exciting for the park's smallest chimpanzee group. Organising the rehoming of the Argentinian chimps and their safe transportation back to the UK has been keeping Alison busy. It's another example in the long list of rescues undertaken by the team over the years. The international cases end up at Monkey World in Dorset, but 6,000 miles away, its sister sanctuary, Dao Tien, assists the government of Vietnam rescuing primates in-country. The staff there dedicate their lives to rescuing and rehabilitating endangered Vietnamese primates, with the aim of releasing them back into the wild, where they belong. Like Monkey World, they've had to keep going through the global pandemic.
The primates come first, and the staff have just been truly amazing through these difficult times. And they've helped maintain and drive Dao Tien forward in everything that it stands for. Every day there's something new happens, and every day, every inch of Dao Tien has to be checked. You know, we check the primates, we check the island, we check the fences. It's just non-stop work.
With more than 30 national parks and 6 biosphere reserves recognised by UNESCO, the conservation of wildlife is becoming a priority for the Vietnamese government. Dao Tien plays a big part in protecting some of the country's most endangered species. Set up 15 years ago, the 56-hectare island in the Dong Nai province is 160 miles northeast of Ho Chi Minh City. Lee Butler, who has managed and overseen much of the work there in the past, has just been able to make his first visit back to the island for more than a year.
I've come back to Vietnam, to Dao Tien this time for a 5-week period. And in that 5 weeks, we've got so much to get done. We've got 4 fence repairs to do, get them back operational. We've got a Gibbon introduction to do. We've got cages to refurb. And with the team behind us, it will be achievable.
Since Dao Tien opened, the team there have rescued more than 260 primates, including golden-cheeked gibbons and pygmy loris. Dao Tien is now also leading the way in Vietnam in the rescue and rehabilitation of Duke monkeys, becoming the prime centre for the species in the region. Keeper Fong is one of their main carers. Every day she brings Vu, Anna and Red from the safety of their enclosures to the trees, so they can play and learn. The team have been preparing them for a life high up in the tree canopy of Vietnam, without human interaction. But the pandemic brought the planned timeline to a shuddering halt, postponing the scheme for their new treetop home. So it may be some time before they're ready for release. Also put back by the pandemic were a number of gibbon releases. Once rehabilitated and paired up, the gibbons at Dao Tien are assessed and, if fit and healthy and deemed suitable for release, are let into a semi-free forested area on the island, of which there are 4. The largest being 20 hectares. They still need their food supplemented due to a lack of fruiting trees, but it's here that the gibbons can start to build up their tree strength and knowledge. However, during COVID, some of the protective fences deteriorated and are now in need of repair. Lee has been assessing the area.
Along the fence line, I've got a lot of damage where trees have come down and bent the bars.
It's one of the reasons releases had to be put on hold.
See, much better. Nice. That's the biggest job we have to do, and once that fence is operational, we then can move another pair or a family of gibbons into that forested enclosure, which is 20 hectares of the island. It's a huge enclosure. It's amazing.
Moving a pair of golden-cheeked gibbons into the large semi-free area will free up space for the 3 dukes to be moved. until the team can forge ahead with plans to build a brand new purpose-built Duke facility. Lee's been scouring the island trying to find a suitable location. It can't come soon enough. Another young Duke needing care and companionship of his own kind recently arrived at the centre. Peter is a black-shanked Duke, around 4 or 5 years old. Like many of the primates who come to Dao Tien for rehabilitation, the details of his background are unclear.
A lot of the time, information isn't forthcoming. It's very difficult sometimes to get information of how long have they had him, when did they get him, what had they been feeding, and all this is important information for us. But unfortunately, we didn't get that information.
Peter is getting to know the other 3 young Dukes, but for now only has contact through the mesh. Once the new Duke facility is built, the team can move the introductions along. Working on the island is 24/7 for the team there, and includes looking after the gibbons during the day and caring and preparing feeds for the loris at night. They keep going no matter what. The global pandemic didn't dent their dedication, and now everyone is ready to get the gibbons, Dukes and loris back to the forest where they belong.
Without question, if it wasn't for our Vietnamese team, we wouldn't be able to achieve what we've achieved in the past and hope to achieve in the future. They're more of a family. We work so well and so closely together. Without them, none of this would be possible. It's as simple as that. It would not be possible to achieve.
Over the last few months, the primate care team have been busy trialling some new pairings at the main gibbon house so that everyone has a partner. Golden-cheeked Tio and La Gibbon Kitty were one of the pairs trialled. Unfortunately, this match didn't go to plan.
With Kitty and Tio, it was always, right from the beginning, it was such a high-intensity introduction. We were always worried that it was going to fall apart and that one of those really intense play sessions would actually turn into a bit of a situation of a fight or something like that. And unfortunately, after 2 weeks of being solidly together, they did actually turn that into a bit of a fight. And once there was that sort of tension between them, they really lost all trust in each other. They hadn't built enough of that really close, gentle contact with lots of cuddles and grooming and things, which really helps to cement a bond. And so we have had to split them up.
Kitty came off worse, and although she only suffered a few minor cuts and scrapes, the team were concerned things might escalate. So now they're back to square one. Kitty has been reunited with her former partner, agile gibbon Paul.
They just kind of went into the room, it's like, oh, it's you, all right, fair enough. And they just kind of carried on about their day as if nothing had actually happened. So we are really lucky that we've managed to get those 2 guys back together. And now we're starting to see, as they spend a little bit more time together, that they are starting to interact a bit more with each other as well. So that's really nice to see.
Today, as a bit of a welcome back treat, the pair are being given some of their favourite foods.
We've had some giant pine cones donated and they've got some really big gaps in them. So we've stuffed those with dried apricots and figs. Gibbons love fruit, but they really, really do enjoy the dried fruits as well. And figs are a natural fruit that they would eat a lot of out in the wild. So those dried figs are a real tasty treat for them. So hopefully they'll come out this morning and really enjoy them.
Once the slides are open, the couple head straight out. Kitty immediately heads up to the suspended pine cones. She loves her food and demonstrates typical gibbon behaviour, hanging by one hand while gathering food with the other. Paul opts for easier pickings, scooping up a couple of pine cones on one of the platforms. While Kitty is determined to devour as much food as she can, Paul has found another use for the pine cones. They're fun to play with. The fruit treats aren't the same as the gibbons would find in the wild in their natural forest habitat. Dried fruit has a much higher sugar content, But Kat has taken this into account.
We don't want to just give the guys a load of real basic sugar foods that they can just stuff down and have no energy burnt off. So putting them around in the enclosure, making them have to work in the pine cones, having to pull them out, etc. And having tied them up as well, that means they're having to use all of their body to actually get these nice tasty rewards. And it's not something that they get very often. It is a very occasional treat, so they should hopefully really enjoy them, but not get too fat with them either.
There's a big physical difference between this pair. La Gibbon Kitty is almost twice the size of agile Gibbon Paul. They've never really bonded as a couple. Their relationship is more like siblings, but they have a close platonic partnership and continue to enjoy each other's company. It's been another busy year of rescues for Alison and the team, coming to the aid of small primates around the UK, all victims of the British pet trade. Marmoset infant TikTok was one. She came to the park almost a year ago.
Hi, madam. Good girl. Look at how big you've gotten. She's grown into quite a huge, beautiful lady. In fact, she's so big. I mean, look at the length of her body compared to my hand. I'm sort of wondering if she's another hybrid marmoset from the British pet trade. So, you know, the breeders and dealers have been taking their business to sort of a new level of actually producing hybrid animals. And that's very typical of what we're seeing in the British pet trade now.
Despite her unfortunate background, since coming to Monkey World, TikTok has thrived.
You're such a good girl. Yes, you are. Here you go.
The youngster was introduced to adoptive parents Clydie and Ronnie soon after she arrived. She was desperately in need of a family, and the pair quickly took to her, providing the support she needed. Unfortunately, both foster parents have now passed away, but plans are afoot to find TikTok a life partner. In the meantime, she still has the company and chatter of the other marmosets around her.
TikTok's a true success story for us. You know, she's a totally natural marmoset now who flies around this enclosure and is very, very confident. You can see, I mean, she will remember me taking her out of that box and putting her into our transport box. But, you know, she's confident in her environment here at the park. And it's a very good and healthy one.
3 other rescues followed closely after TikTok. Red-bellied tamarin Red is now happy but has ongoing medical issues. Being the only one of her species at the park, she's yet to be matched with a permanent mate, despite a few attempts. Corley was an incredibly nervous and scared young marmoset when she arrived, but meeting Comet has been instrumental in transforming her confidence.
Really pleased for Collie. We got her turned around. She's sorted out nutritionally, physically now, and Collie has a really sound partner because Comet knows what he's about and is quite feisty.
Another success story is the park's most recent arrival, Jangles. She's settled into life at the Marmoset complex and is very happy living with Reggie. But until the UK law governing the trade in small primates is changed, the flow of rescues will continue.
Last count, I've got more than 80 on my waiting list. So, you know, sadly, it used to be 100. You'd think that the decline in the waiting list is a good thing, but it's not because we're taking them all. It's because they're either dying or being sold back into the pet trade. So the whole situation's quite tragic, and basically we're just trying to pick up and help save as many marmosets as we can.
Alison has been campaigning for a change in the law to protect the rights and welfare of small primates in the UK for almost 25 years. The new Kept Animals Bill is currently going through Parliament.
In amongst that is a change in the legislation for primates kept as pets in Britain. And it's not an outright ban, but it is a registration system which actually requires and obligates people to keep them under appropriate conditions. So No more bird cages in sitting rooms. Breeders not allowed to sell them on to people unless they're already registered and approved. We've now had 2 readings in House of Commons. We're waiting for a reading in the House of Lords. And this will be a vast improvement if it actually comes to fruition. So I'm hopeful that we'll actually get significant steps forward to improve the plight of primates in the British pet trade, and that the trade will very much slow down and dry up.
An improvement in conditions may be in sight, but until the law is actually passed, the park will continue to pick up the pieces left by the devastating trade in small primates. Next time on Monkey Life. Alison and Jeremy travel to Argentina to meet chimps Sasha and Kangoo and prepare to bring them back to their new Dorset home.
Now to see them in the flesh in their enclosure, really nice.
And jelly good fun at the orangutan nursery. But which floating balls contain the treat? Today on Monkey Life, Alison and Jeremy travel to Argentina to meet chimps Sasha and Kangoo and prepare to bring them back to their new Dorset home.
Now to see them in the flesh in their enclosure, really nice.
Stump-tailed macaque Toto is reintroduced to the females as the team attempt to help the stumpies sort out their hierarchy problems.
I'm very nervous. Hopefully it does all go well. We have got measures in place for if it does go wrong. Fingers crossed it won't.
And jelly good fun at the orangutan nursery. But which floating balls contain the treat? Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Hopefully she'll walk in as well as he did, so this would be fantastic. Fingers crossed.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 25 different species. Buenos Aires, capital city of Argentina and home to a population of more than 15 million people. Nestled in one corner of the sprawling metropolis is a 44-acre site of lush vegetation. Once a zoo, but now an eco-park specialising in native species. Monkey World's director Alison Cronin and animal director Jeremy Keeling have just arrived in the city after a flight of over 6,000 miles. They're here to collect 2 chimpanzees in need of a new home and take them back to Dorset.
Finally! Yay!
How are you?
Yeah.
They're met by Thomas Sciola, the eco-park's head of biodiversity, conservation and wildlife, and key to the long-planned operation.
We're really happy. We couldn't be more excited. I've been working with Alison and Jeremy for close to a year already in order to basically organize everything. The keepers have been working really hard with training them. The vets have been working really hard with getting there healthy and ready for the translocation as well. So being close to the date is just something that I'm just thrilled, yeah.
Alison and Jeremy are keen to get their first look at the 2 chimpanzees, Sasha and her son, Kangoo. But first, they're going to meet some of the team who've helped plan the relocation.
The chimps will be perfect, and it's Jeremy and I who have to educate ourselves about what Sasha and Kangoo need. Okay. So it's mainly for us to spend a few days understanding what their lifestyle is like.
The historic Buenos Aires Zoo first opened in 1888, and ever since has housed a number of native and exotic species. But in 2016, the city government decided to close the 140-year-old zoo and transform it into a modern-day interactive eco-park to preserve and protect Argentinian wildlife. The decision meant non-native species needed to be rehomed.
Been talking to Tom for quite a while about the different conservation work that EcoPark does, and witnessing the transition from what was an old urban city zoo into a conservation center that's trying to protect and conserve wildlife from Argentina. And, you know, this is the whole basis of why the chimpanzees are leaving the park. So seeing the work that they're doing with conservation and the facilities and the infrastructure that the government has been putting into all of this is a real eye-opener, and I think perhaps the way forward for zoos around the globe. They're setting a very good example, I think.
Chimps, Sasha and Kangoo are some of the last non-native animals to be rehomed. The elephants and giraffes still at the park are old and potentially unsuitable for moving, so for now will continue to be cared for there. Alison and Jeremy get their first chance to study the chimps close up.
Hey, Kangoo!
Fully grown male Kangoo is 15 years old. His mother Sasha is 25.
What are you doing? What? He's a nice-looking lad.
But the relationship is complicated. They're also half-brother and sister. Alison is keen to learn as much as she can about them.
He is a big guy. He doesn't have as much muscle. So do they usually sleep on the ground?
Everywhere, but not like fully sleeping. During the night, they prefer hay. Sometimes hay, those nests they use a lot, but something more
soft.
Mushy.
Yeah. So they get bedding every night of some kind.
Yeah.
Alison and Jeremy are going to spend 6 days getting to know the chimps with the help of the Argentinian keepers. They want to learn about their characters and their likes and dislikes.
There they are. It's so amazing because I've been doing so many, meetings by Zoom and so on, and getting photos and videos of Sasha and Kangoo, but now to see them in the flesh in their enclosure, really nice, really interesting, because he's not as big as I thought he was, not quite as ripped, so really interesting to see. They're gonna have to get ahead for heights. Hadn't really thought about that. Our climbing frames are really tall, and they don't have that happening here, so there's gonna be a big adjustment for them because this is what they've known all of their life. But really good to see them. They look really fit and healthy, all good.
Today is just a first look. The hard work and preparation begins tomorrow.
Feeling really happy, and probably time to call it a day and let these guys get some sleep because they're having early morning training sessions to get them ready for the early morning arrival to the airport in just a few days' time. So probably time for all of us to call it a day.
It's been an eventful day for Alison and Jeremy. And after nearly a year in the planning, they've finally met Sasha and Kangoo. Heading off for some rest, they're aware there's lots to do if the chimps are going to be ready in time for the flight to the UK. Back home in Dorset, the summer has been one of the hottest and driest on record, with parched lands and little rain. The soaring temperatures have been testing for the team at the park, who need to keep more than 260 primates cool and hydrated. At the orangutan nursery, primate care member James has risen to the challenge.
It's been hot all year, really, this heat wave. Everything's very, very dry, so we're trying to keep the guys as hydrated as possible, generally with play-style things with water. So today we've got a mixture of jelly balls, which is basically just jelly in these play balls that they usually have quite a lot of fun with. And there's some fake ones in there as well, so not everyone's got a treat. And then we're filling up a load of trug tubs with some bubbly water for them to play with, putting these in, and hopefully they'll keep them hydrated, make them have a good old morning.
Most of the primate species at the park come from warmer climes, but the majority have lived their lives here and are used to the British climate.
Orangutans in their tropical habitat obviously can deal with the heat quite well, but in the tropical habitat there's a lot of humidity in the forest, a lot of moisture, a lot of shade as well in the canopy, so they tend to not really go up to the very high tips like your smaller monkeys do. They tend to stay more in the shade of the canopies. So we try and keep our guys, when we have big heat waves like this, as hydrated as possible, but also being able to play during the day as well and keep them busy and happy with it. So hopefully they'll enjoy this. Lots of bubbles, lots of water play and lots of jelly balls, so I'm sure they'll have a good morning.
Before being let out into their enclosure, the 5 orangutans making up the group are given their daily vitamins and supplements. Then, James opens up. The group head out, keen to see what he has in store for them today. Female Rika is first to the jelly balls. She's clever enough to know they may contain something delicious, but is it worth getting wet for? Unusually, O'Sheen is off the ground, assessing the situation from above, as Rika starts to search through the tub. Orangutans are problem solvers, and very capable. The 2 males, Bulu Mata and Sylvester, share the spoils. The youngster looks up to Sylvester and is constantly learning from him. 7-year-old Mimi is the youngest in the group. She loves her food and comes up trumps. There's plenty of jelly in this one, and she sucks it dry. O'Sheen, on the other hand, has a more delicate approach.
O'Sheen's not so keen on getting water on it. She doesn't mind it a little bit if it's just a passing shower or something like that, but certainly in the winter, as soon as it starts raining, she's off or puts a blanket over her head as a bit of a cover. So she didn't want to get too involved in the water, but also O'Sheen is very, very intelligent with the balls, so half of them had jelly and half of them were fake. So O'Sheen probably learnt from previous times that we've done it that the ones that were fake were floating more and the ones with the jelly in were going to the bottom, so she was probably getting a jelly ball every single time. So it's quite interesting watching O'Sheen when we do things like this.
The jelly balls and water tubs have been a success, keeping the orangutans cool and providing a hydrating and fun treat. But it's surprising the water stayed in the tub so long. Before the youngsters worked out there's an alternative way to get to the balls. And the empty tubs can now be put to another use. Playtime. It's been a tumultuous few months at the Stumpy house following the loss of leader Sam and 2 of the females. Relationships between the remaining macaques have fractured, turning the hierarchy on its head. The primate care team have been forced to split the group, with the 3 girls remaining together while the 2 males are alone.
We had a lot of fights, and we need to remember that all of these monkeys, they're not normal. They've been through quite a lot in their lives. A lot of the girls have physical ailments, so the constant fighting, it just put a lot of damage on their health. So we took the decision to split them all up completely. So they've had some time on their own, but now we want to properly crack down and get the group back together.
The plan today is to put Toto back with the 3 females Sylvie, Noreen and Kelly. While they get reacquainted indoors, Freddie is kept separate, making the most of the outside enclosure.
So I'm very nervous. Hopefully it does all go well. We have got measures in place for if it does go wrong. Fingers crossed it won't. But it's macaque society. They are an aggressive species, and it is unfortunately the way that they do establish the hierarchy positions. They do have to fight, they have to dominance bite. There's a lot of body language as well, whether it's facial expressions. So it's just making sure that, you know, we're watching everything just so we can try and understand what the conversation is and what's going on. Hey, Reenie Bean, is your boyfriend coming?
Initially, Sylvie, who's now the dominant female, is kept back while Noreen and Kelly wait to meet Toto. Sylvie can be a bit full-on, especially with a male around. Enter Toto, full of bravado, posturing and strutting his stuff. But the show of male testosterone leaves Noreen and Kelly slightly nonplussed. It's only when Sylvie joins them that Toto gets the attention he craves. By being submissive and letting Toto regularly mate with her, Sylvie reminds the other two females she's top girl.
I would have thought he would have gone for Noreen first to have some close time with. It is normally his favourite female. I just wonder if it's because Sylvie is now the most dominant and she was a lot more confident going up to him. Kelly's not bothered at all. Her and Toto actually don't have a close relationship like he does with the other two girls, so I think she's quite happy to sit out of this one.
Once the group have settled, Elle decides it's time to move the reintroductions on a step further.
What we're going to do now is we're going to kind of let Fred back in. We're going to let the group have access outside, but this will mean that Fred will have mesh contact with the group. So it could change things up a little bit because they will be able to have contact with him, but they will also have the choice as to whether they go in or out.
Freddie is secured in the tunnel system, while the other four are given outside access.
Hi. Come on in, Toto.
Toto follows Sylvie into the enclosure, with Kelly and Noreen bringing up the rear. Freddie is then allowed indoors. The other four are all happy outside, enjoying the sunshine. The enclosure provides plenty of opportunities to forage and have lots of space to move around. Having been passed over for Sylvie indoors, Noreen is trying to catch Toto's eye outdoors. Meanwhile, Freddie is straining to get a glimpse of his housemates. Eventually, the main group of four venture back inside. Freddie remains in his bedrooms, separated only by the mesh.
They've now got the option as to whether they want to come and say hello to him, so it'll be interesting to see if they actually do.
The boys start with a quiet greeting, but seconds later, it's no holds barred.
It's just symbolising that they still haven't sorted out between themselves which one is more dominant, and that is something that they will have to sort out when they are all put together as a group.
The group are going to have to stay separated for now, allowing the boys the chance to sort out the hierarchy at arm's length. Until they do, the four can't become five once more. In Argentina, Alison and animal director Jeremy are back at the Buenos Aires Eco Park, having recharged their batteries after a 24-hour journey starting in Dorset and ending with them getting a first look at chimps Sasha and Kangoo. The mother and son are due to be relocated to Monkey World in a few days' time.
So we've come into the zoo nice and early this morning. I'm keeping my voice down so that we don't disrupt the chimps. Sasha and Kangoo are a little bit sort of cautious of everything that's been happening because their normal routine, which they've experienced throughout their entire life now, is being changed all of a sudden. So in the last week or so, the keepers have been coming in really early and waking them up so that on the day that we need to take them to the airport, they're used to getting up early and going inside of those transport boxes willingly.
Hola, Kangoo.
But there is one difficulty and that's Sasha. You know, everything's sort of setting alarm bells off for Sasha. Kangoo, the young lad, is like most young lads, nah, no problem. Do I get a snack inside there? Great, I'm going in. But either way, it's gonna be okay, but all of us here are working so hard to make sure that everything is perfect for the two chimpanzees, and that's what this is all about.
Head of Conservation and Wildlife, Thomas Sciola, takes Alison and Jeremy on a tour of the chimp house and enclosure.
Buenos dias. Hello. Hello. How are you?
It gives Alison the opportunity to speak to one of the chimp's keepers.
They are very different each other. Kangoo's personality is more plastic than Sasha, because I think because he's very much younger than she. She's a good mother, and she's always keeping an eye on him.
Oh, nice.
She's the best.
Yeah.
And she's so intelligent. We always said if we give a pen to Sasha, he can make a rocket to the moon because she's so intelligent. Yeah.
Alison and Jeremy are keen to gather as much information as they can about the chimps. Not just their characters, but also their diet, routines, and preferences.
They have these two bedrooms at the inside, one in the outside, and one more in the other part of the building. And this place for them was good because when Sasha wants to be alone, she can do it, and the same for Kangoo. And if they want to be all together, they can do it too.
Life is about to change dramatically for Sasha and Kangoo. In 4 days' time, they'll fly to the UK to start a new life at Monkey World, joining a small group of chimps led by Bryan.
How big he is. You can probably see his size better.
Oh, God. Bryan. Claro. Mañana se pueden presentar con Bryan.
He is very, very kind.
Dice que se deja pinchar, que se deja revisar.
Just like the chimps at Monkey World, Sasha and Kangoo are given their morning feed outside, including various forms of enrichment.
Obviously here, you know, just by the geography and everything and the way the place is built, they can't capitalise on height like we can back at Monkey World. But they've made a really, really good job of keeping stuff, you know, on a low level and giving lots of different options. They've made a, you know, sort of area where the chimps can get away from each other and separate themselves from each other, and you know, they've got great sort of options for doing different things and, you know, having different spaces. The only thing that would have been nicer possibly was height, but clearly that wasn't going to be an option on the site. So, you know, they've compromised very, very well, and it's fantastic.
The Argentinian keepers will find it a wrench when they leave.
Of course, Kangoo is like my love, my primate love, my non-human primate love. And we're not gonna lie, I'm sad too. I spent so much years with them, sorry. But this is our dream. We dream this. We dream the best life for them. It's the best thing that we can give to a chimpanzee, to live in a group and know another ones and play and fight and have fun and sleep with others. And I think that is the only thing that it matters now. Even if we are not going to see them anymore, we know that is what is right, and we want to do it.
Once the decision was made by the city government to transform the former zoo into an eco-park, there was really only one place Thomas wanted to send the chimps: Monkey World.
They have an amazing track record of working with specialists. They are specialists themselves. So it was an easy decision for us. And now we are really happy to be close to the final days.
There's a lot of hard work ahead in those coming days before Sasha and Kangoo are ready to begin their journey to a new life on the other side of the world. Next time on Monkey Life. There's trepidations as Alison and Jeremy prepare to fly chimps Sasha and Kangoo from Argentina to Dorset.
The fact is, no matter how we try, these two guys in here have not read the instruction manual.
And back at the park, two baby woolly monkeys enjoyed time with their family. Today on Monkey Life, there's trepidations as Alison and Jeremy prepare to fly chimps Sasha and Kangoo from Argentina to Dorset.
I'm still terrified when it comes down to actually making it happen.
The fact is, no matter how we try, these two guys in here have not read the instruction manual.
The early morning flight means the chimps need to be crated and loaded in the middle of the night if they're to reach the airport on time.
Fingers crossed, because soon, tick-tock, we've got to get to the airport. They're pretty serious about being there 6 hours ahead of the plane.
And back at the park, two baby woolly monkeys enjoyed time with their family. Monkey World in Dorset, very deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I'm shocked. This animal is living in fear of its life at all times.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 25 different species. More than 6,000 miles away from Monkey World at the Buenos Aires Eco Park in Argentina, it's been a busy 5 days for Monkey World director Alison Cronin and animal director Jeremy Keeling. Since their arrival, with the help of the park's keepers, they've been getting to know chimps Sasha and Kangoo. Information about their characters, temperament, likes and dislikes is important because in less than 24 hours, the two apes will be on a plane heading to the park in Dorset.
It's getting pretty exciting now and a bit intense. We're in the final throes of getting everything organized, but I'm still terrified when it comes down to actually making it happen because I just know that every time we've ever moved apes, there are always either little things or quite big things that become a problem as we're going through the process.
The operation to persuade the chimps into travel crates in their bedrooms and then load them onto transport to the airport is a complex one. It involves a lot of people and a lot of planning. And it all has to happen in the middle of the night. Head of Conservation and Wildlife Thomas Sciola is across the details.
So we're going to be starting the entire operation at 3 a.m. And just in case they do not want to willingly come in, we will have to perhaps think about plan B, which involves trying to sedate them a little bit.
Jeremy has been involved in many chimp rescues over the years, and he's realistic about what's ahead.
The fact is, no matter how we try, these two guys in here have not read the instruction manual. No matter what language you put it in, they just don't read it. So anything could, what I'm trying to say here is anything could happen. So you must really be prepared for as many eventualities as you possibly can imagine. You really, really, really have to have an open mind. And I'm so lucky because my mind is as open as you can get.
Thomas has been instrumental in arranging the move, and he's confident all the boxes have been ticked.
Today we are having a lot of meetings with all the different teams that are involved in the logistics process. All the vets, all the keepers are going to be handling everything related to getting Sasha and Kangoo inside of the crates. And then we have a big other part of the team doing the project management and being on top of all the permits that we need to get very last minute for us in order to be able to get them inside of the airport and ready to get exported to the United Kingdom.
Every detail is being checked and double-checked.
The truck is going to come up to this way, and this is...
Over the last few months, Sasha and Kangoo have been trained to enter their travel crates willingly. Now their keepers are having one last practice at securing the boxes.
This is not going to be a straightforward event at 3 o'clock in the morning, so there's some concerns. Everybody's feeling pretty tense. They're doing their best to practice it, but we're going to have to keep everything crossed that this goes smoothly tonight. It could be difficult.
Alison, Jeremy and the dedicated team at the Eco Park have done all they can. In the early hours of tomorrow morning, all their plans of the last year will be put to the test. Fingers crossed, Sasha and Kangoo's journey to their new life in Dorset gets off to a good start. Back at the park in Dorset, a group of monkeys that are native to South America are in for a treat. Primate care team member Donna is trying something new for the park's trio of spider monkeys. They're not the most active or motivated group, and the team are constantly trying to come up with new ways to engage them.
I don't remember giving them these before. Normally we'd use them once they've gone over and they can pick all the seeds and everything out. So some of these have started to go over already, but some of them haven't. But in the wild they will eat flowers and things, and we have seen that here with our guys before. So it'd be interesting to see what they think of the sunflower heads themselves.
The small troop generally get on well together, but when it comes to food...
It is each for their own. You get what you can get, and they don't do sharing very well at all. Normally Pumpkin is the first one in to investigate. Flint can be a little bit of a scaredy cat sometimes. He's got much better since he's been here at the park. So it'd be interesting to see what he thinks. Hickory tends to just find everything really funny. So we'll see. Hopefully they will all sort of band together a little bit and come and investigate it, especially seeing as it's something quite different. But yeah, I imagine they'll all pretty much just do their own thing.
Hopefully the large, colourful flowers will pique their interest and lead to a busy and active morning. When the slide opens, unusually it's Hickory who's out first, with Flint and Pumpkin following on. The trio are wary of the bright yellow flowers, sniffing and touching them cautiously. In the wild, bright colours can be an indication of something dangerous, so it's natural to be wary. The group's food is nearly always suspended high in their enclosure to encourage them to climb. Spider monkeys have a prehensile tail, which they use as a fifth limb, while hanging from branches to reach food. The care team try to replicate this natural behaviour whenever they can. But today, things aren't going to plan. Donna had hoped the sunflowers would cause some excitement. But even normally greedy Pumpkin isn't showing any interest.
So I think the spider monkeys were very underwhelmed by the sunflowers.
Time for Plan B. Donna calls the grumpy trio back into the tunnel system connecting their house and enclosure, so she can safely go in and put something out to entice the spider monkeys to try the sunflowers.
Yeah, who doesn't like honey? It's quite sweet, so the spider monkeys do like it. So we'll see if this helps them a little bit.
She lets the trio back into the enclosure, eagerly anticipating a dash for the sticky sweet honey. But once again, she's disappointed. Only Flint expresses any interest, and it's definitely just the honey he wants. The flower heads remain intact. It's always trial and error trying out different forms of enrichment, and at least Donna can see the funny side of today's attempt.
So the honey didn't work. For now, didn't go very well. Didn't go as planned.
But she leaves the sunflowers in place for a while, in the hope the three spider monkeys will work out they really are a treat worth trying. The team at Monkey World have had great success caring for another South American primate, the woolly monkey, which is endangered in the wild. More than half the world's captive population reside at the park. It's the last surviving centre with a healthy breeding woolly monkey population outside its native area. And there was cause for celebration recently following the birth of 2 babies, just a week apart in the same group. Xingu gave birth for the 5th time and a few days later became a grandmother too, when her daughter Olivia had her first infant.
I mean, I think that is quite unusual for us here to have babies born within a couple of weeks of each other like that, and it really benefited. I think it certainly benefited Olivia being a first-time mum. I think having Xingu's kind of experience there and having her, and that you could really see that that was a real support to her, because Olivia was definitely overwhelmed for the first few days, and she was obviously very tired as well. But now they've both settled into it. They're developing really, really well. So yeah, we're happy with those guys.
Xingu had a boy named Levi, following the tradition of picking a name starting with the same letter as his dad, Lavar. Olivia's baby is a girl, Benita, because the team suspect young adult Bueno Jr. is the father. They're a close-knit family who spend the majority of time together outside.
You will often see the mums sat together and the kids will be off doing their own thing, and Olivia is now letting Benita wander a little bit further, but if there's anything that she's concerned about, she gives her a quick little call and she scoops her up, so she's doing all of the right things. She's not too cautious.
Little Levi is already super confident.
He's happy to go off and climb on other group members. He loves Lavar, which is no surprise because Lavar is a great dad and he does love the babies. But we tend to see Levi more spending time with Lavar. He'll run off mum and go and sit with dad, whereas Benita's not quite comfortable to do that.
Xingu is also still protective of Levi's older brother Leroy. At just a little more than 2 years old, he's still a youngster, so Mum allows him to join in with the fun and games. Helping to keep everything on an even keel is the old boy, 32-year-old dominant male Lavar.
You can't not love him. He is a bit of a grumpy old boy, but you know, you have to respect that, you know, what he's achieved, you know, in his life. He's still maintaining that dominant position, and you can just see the respect that he gets from all of his group members. He's got 2 big boys in his group now, and even at the ripe old age of 32, he's managing to maintain that position, and the girls, they want him to be in charge. I think Junior's still got some maturing to do before he's ready to take over. So yeah, I think he's still got quite a lot to learn from Lavar. But he's a very impressive dominant male compared to the other boys we've got here. He just ticks all the boxes, really.
And hopefully he'll continue to be the centre of his growing family and a great role model for the youngsters for some time to come. There are 3 groups of orangutans at the park: Gordons, Tuans and the nursery. Orangutans are the largest arboreal species on the planet, spending the majority of their time in the treetops of Sumatra and Borneo. At the park, they have climbing frames and hoses because they destroy living trees in their enclosures. But there's a treat in store for one group today. The maintenance team have been clearing up damage resulting from the winter storms, which battered Britain a few months ago. A full-grown cherry tree with fruit still attached has had to be cut down and split in 2. It's being put to good use at Tuans.
There'll probably be a little bit of a hierarchy on it at the start when they first come out. The top guys will probably be the first to be able to have a look at it, and maybe some of the youngsters might be slightly scared possibly of it as well. Who knows, it's always unpredictable with orangutans what they'll make of this.
All 6 members of the troop will have a chance to explore the new addition to their enclosure.
These guys are going to have so much fun with this. I'm very excited about seeing them up in the tree.
Young female Awan is first out, closely followed by leader Tuan. They both head straight for the new trees. The large specially designed climbing frames at the park are there to encourage the primates off the ground and enable them to move around as they would in the wild. But a real, flexible tree is different, as leader Tuan demonstrates when he climbs it. The two youngsters, Hujan and Awan, are cautious at first. They've never climbed a real tree before. They stick to the hoses, not sure what to make of it all. For the adults, it's a different story. They were stolen from the wild for the illegal black market trade and will have spent time in the trees as infants with their mums. The memories may have faded, but their instincts haven't. The cherry tree is a hit. Persuading Tuan off the ground and up high is often a struggle, but today there's no stopping him. He heaves his 80-kilogram bulk off the ground and into the tree to feed on the browse.
I think Tuan is very excited about this tree. I mean, I'm excited about seeing him in this tree. He's already done some great branch shaking when he first approached it, making everybody know that this is his tree and nobody else is allowed on it. So I'm sure he will spend most of his time ripping as much branches off as possible, because normally we only give them smaller branches of browse, but being that it's a whole tree trunk in there, he's going to be ripping all of that bark off and getting to that cambium layer in the tree, which they would do in the wild as well. So it's great for his diet as well with all that fibre involved.
Ame uses the tree for a different purpose, busily building a shelter. Orangutans are known for their tool use and nest building skills, bending and breaking branches to make comfortable resting places, usually at height. On a hot day, the browse makes a welcome shade too.
She is one of the orangs in this group that does tend to spend a little bit more time to herself compared to the others. I mean, naturally, they're not social animals anyway. Ame does love to have a good old social time, particularly with the young babies, but she is a little bit more tender when it comes to the males, and she will generally try and spend a little bit more time away from the group by herself. So what she absolutely loves to do is to grab a load of browse and build these little, almost huts in the corner of our enclosure. There's a little bit of her own sort of habitat and space. Yeah, Ame, she's quite a wild character, really.
With her den arranged, Ame heads up the tree. Watching the adults has given the youngsters confidence, and soon they make their way into the leafy cover too. The branches, foliage and bark should keep the group busy for days.
They're all active, all enjoying it, eating the browse, and it's just a fantastic thing to see. I just wish that these guys were in a forest all the time, really. It's amazing.
It's the middle of the night in Argentina, and for Alison and Jeremy, it's the start of a 36-hour journey to take two chimpanzees to a new life, more than 6,000 miles away at Monkey World in Dorset.
We have so many plans set up. Have to keep everything crossed that it goes well for them in whatever form. But I think our ride is here, and the fun begins now.
For the last 5 days, Alison and Jeremy have been getting to know chimps Sasha and Kangoo, with the help of the keepers who've loved and cared for them for many years. Everyone has done their best in preparation for the big day, and now it's here. With a morning flight to the UK and mountains of official paperwork to go through before the chimps can be loaded onto the plane, an early start is essential. But if the operation is to stay on schedule, Sasha and Kangoo will need to cooperate and go straight into their travel crates.
The whole operation depends on the animals going in the box, so, you know, it would be a complete disaster if they didn't. But the day is young. Who knows?
To keep stress levels low, only the chimps' keepers are in the house with them. They've been training the pair for this moment all year, and their efforts pay off.
Perfect job. Absolutely perfect. Now they just have to manage them out of the house, and it's not easy to get those boxes. Each weighs about 150 kilos. So getting them out of those boxes onto the truck is the next big effort. But
So far, so good. Nice job. Really nice job.
With dawn fast approaching and a long drive to the airport, the chimps' travel crates now need to be loaded onto a lorry one by one. It must be done slowly and quietly to keep the animals calm and safe.
So they've managed to get Sasha in her box out of the house. They've got that all sorted out, and this is now Kangoo being shifted. Fingers crossed, because soon, tick-tock, we've got to get to the airport. They're pretty serious about being there 6 hours ahead of the plane, and we're going to be eventually cutting it close if he takes as long as she did. So hopefully they can move it along.
Kangoo's crate makes steady progress towards the lorry. Then he's on board. The operation to load the chimps has taken 2 hours. It's now 5 in the morning and time to leave the eco-park and head to the airport. For the staff not making the trip, it's an emotional goodbye. The eco-park's head of conservation and wildlife, Thomas, and Nico, one of the keepers, will be accompanying the chimps to Dorset to help settle them in. As the truck with Sasha and Kangoo on board arrives at the airport, dawn is breaking. Alison and Jeremy head across to check on the chimps. The number of officials and airport staff around the crates may cause the pair to become stressed. Alison distracts them.
Hey, would you like this? I know. Here.
Thomas is happy with how the logistics are progressing.
A big part of the paperwork has been handled already and everything looks good. And hopefully the rest of it is just going to be smoothly as the rest of the morning. So we are happy about everything so far.
But Alison is concerned about the amount of time the chimps have been sitting outside in their travel crates on an unusually chilly morning.
But it would be good to get them somewhere warm. You know, because like there's just so much happening.
Sasha and Kangoo are becoming stressed.
The chimps are a little bit upset. It's really cold out here right now, so it'd be nice if we could get them into someplace warm. But they don't know what's happening, and there's a lot of people around, so probably best that we get them somewhere secluded and calm. But they're doing okay.
The eco-park's keepers have one last preparation for the long flight.
We are giving them sheets. We are actually passing it through the little holes in the crates so they are comfortable and they are not cold during the flights.
With all the paperwork checked, it's now a waiting game.
I'll feel a whole lot happier when I see their boxes strapped to the pallets and them sort of on their way out to the plane. So got some bedding going in.
That's good. That's good. Really now we just need to make this thing move.
Minutes later, they're given the green light. The plane is ready for the chimps to be loaded on board. There's just time for final goodbyes and some extra food and water for the journey before Sasha and Kangoo are towed to the plane. Next stop, Dorset, and the start of a brand new life.